Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We are starting our small lesson about the fire awareness. Whatever I'm mentioning today about the fire classes beyond the standard is my own meditation and my own philosophy. It's my own interpretation, my own understanding of the science, and I hope that you understand it in the same way as I, because it will be a favorable experience for you. Fire classes are divided into 5 classes. Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D, and Class E. In some references, Class E is referred to Class F or K. F means fat related to the oil, and K related to the kitchen. No matter what is the method you are using to make the terminology of the last one, but it is very dangerous. Why? Because if you are in the kitchen and fire happens, and the lady doesn't know what's going on and she uses the water to abort the fire, guess what happens? The water is boiling at 450 degrees Celsius, and then you are pouring some water at 24 degrees Celsius. What is the temperature gradient? More than 450 degrees Celsius. For the water to evaporate, it needs 106 degrees. Now, as once of a sudden, you are pouring the water into the cooking oil, and it will evaporate at a very high rate. You are giving the water 4 times the kinetic energy that is required to convert water from the liquid status to the gaseous status, the steam. So each liter of water will be converted into 1,700 liters of steam. It means you will create a bomb inside the kitchen. This is why the first piece of advice to the ladies at home, in case of fire in the kitchen, please don't use water. Don't use water. So this is Class E. Class A, the solids. For example, the wood and the paper. Class B, the liquids and the gases. Liquids, for example, kerosene. Gases, for example, H2S, propane, butane, methane, whatsoever. Class C, active electric current. If you have an apparatus with active electric current, it is labeled Class C. Class D, metals. Class D, metals. For example, sodium, magnesium, steel, copper, iron, all the metals, if they boil, they get liquefied. Okay? We need to meditate a bit about the colors. We are giving color code for the fire classes. Class A, red. Class B, yellow. Class C, black. Class D, blue. Class E, silver. Why we are labeling Class A red? To answer this question, we need to know what is the origin of all the solid items that we face in life. Wood, it comes from the trees. Paper, it comes from the trees. Plastic, it comes from the oil. Where does the oil come from? From the dead bodies, from the fossils of the plants and animals. Over millions and millions of years, oil is produced in this way. So ultimately, all the solids, but the metals, they originate from either plant or animal. Plant, for example, the wood arises from the trees. Animal, for example, the plastic, it arises from the dead bodies of the animals over millions of years, making the oil, and then we drill for the oil, we take it, we make the petrochemical industry, and we make the polymerization reaction, and we make the plastic production. What is the shared item between the plant and the animal. The shared item is that both the plant and animal are living. They are not dead. Animal is living. Plant is living. 70% of the structure of the living plants or animals is water. 70% of your body is water. 70% of the plant body is water. I will give you an example. If you put the toast in the toaster every day morning when you are heating up the toast, for 1 minute it turns yellow. For 2 minutes it turns light brown. For 3 minutes it turns black. What happens? The water inside the bread has been evaporated with the heat, and only carbon remained. Carbon is black in color. So, the process of fire is oxidation. But at the same time, if you meditate in the fire, if you deprive the plant from the fire, you will die. If you deprive the plant from water, he will die. If you deprive the animal from water, he will die. So the process of removing the water from the body by the heat is the reason behind killing. Okay? How do you kill a piece of wood? You heat it up, all the water is removed, it evaporates, and only carbon remains. It is dead now. So, what is shared between the plant and the animal is that they are living. The animal has the blood, but the plant has the plasma. The plasma, it goes up from the roots, upstairs in the stem to carry the nourishment to the leaves. Okay? The human body has the blood. The blood is red in color. The animal and the plant cannot live without the blood and the plasma. Because the blood color is red, we label this class with the red color. We want you to know that all the solid items, they come from either plant or animal. They were living in a certain stage in the past. And then, because of the fire, they died. Okay? Because the red color denotes life, we use the red color for class A. Okay? You understand me? What about class B, the yellow? Liquid and gases. We use the foam. The foam. Imagine yourself, you are in a fuel station. You have a BMW which can operate with fuel, liquid or gas. Somebody has given you a missed call, and due to a spark, fire happened. So the car was eaten with the fire. You were in a fuel station. In the fuel station there were flammable liquids and flammable gas. If you had foam extinguisher, you would be able to put out the fire. Meditate here about the 4 F's. F, fuel station. F, flammable gas. F, flammable liquid. F, foam. What about the color? Why we use the yellow color? Where do we get the foam from? Foam is a mixture of oily and proteinic material. What is the color of oil? The color of oil is yellow, and hence the color of the class. Class B, for the liquids and gas, we use the foam. We get the foam from the oil. How do we get the foam from the oil? You see the kids at home, they are playing with the bubbles. How do we make the bubbles? Soap and water. Where do we get the soap from? Sodium hydroxide and oil. The reaction between sodium hydroxide and oil produces the soap. So originally it is oil. What color is the oil? It is yellow. So remember, foam, yellow, because the oil is yellow. And remember the 4 F's of the class B. So class B, you are having BMW in a fuel station with flammable liquids, flammable gas, and you will extinguish the fire by the use of foam. Foam is yellow in color because of its oily nature, and the oil is yellow in color. What about class A? We said class A, it is red in color because it denotes the life of both the animal and the plant. We use the water. Let us meditate in the word water, W-A-T-E-R. W means the weight is heavy. The weight of the water is heavy. This is why in the old buildings, if the fire brigade arrives and they use the water, after finishing their job, usually they demolish the house because the house was very brittle, very fragile. It did not afford the huge tons of water that they used to put out the fire. So it is disadvantageous criterion is the heavy weight of the water. A, it is used for class A. T, temperature cooling. This is the mechanism by which we put out the fire. Temperature cooling. E, water evaporates. We don't pour water over the cooking oil while hot. Why? Because it evaporates and each 1 liter converts into 1,700 liters of steam. R, red color. Okay, R, red color. Let us move now to the class C, the electricity. If you have electric apparatus, for example, fridge, copywriter, stove, whatsoever, and there is fire, we need a fire extinguisher which is not conductive to electricity. And this one is the carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide. There are some C's that we have to consider here. That first, we are talking about class C. Second, we are talking about electricity. Third, we are talking about CO2. Fourth, CO2 is clean and clear. It is used in confined spaces. It can be left easily. What does it mean? If you have a fire in a confined space, the best extinguisher is CO2. It can be left easily because it is light in the weight, and this is preferable for the ladies at home. So the preferable domestic fire extinguisher is carbon dioxide. C, 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 C. Okay? Lots of C's. What about class D, the metals? Where do we get the metals from? What is the origin of the metal? Who can tell me? The volcano. The volcano is the origin of the metal. Allah has made for us the volcano as one ayah to guide us that the earth is full of metals and the metals are broiling. What is the ultimate fate of the volcano? It dries out. When the volcano dries out, a new island is made in the sea. A new island is made in the sea because of these metals when they dry out. So again and again. What is the ultimate fate of the metal which is broiling in the volcano? To dry out. This in nature. We learn from the nature that we have to dry out the metal when it is broiling, when it is having a fire, when it catches fire. How to dry it out? By the use of dry powder or dry chemical powder. We use the powder to dry out the metal. We mentioned that most of the volcanoes, they originate in the sea. What color is the sea? It is blue, and hence the color of the class. The color of the class is blue. If you do this correlation, which is actually Dr. Bassam meditation, you will never forget the color code. You will never forget the color code, okay? What about our meditation in the word powder? P-O-W-D-E-R. P stands for particles. Because of the particle nature of the powder, we cannot use it in a confined space. You cannot breathe the powder. It's particle. That's number one. Number two, O. It is advised that you use the powder in the open spaces. In the open spaces. W. The weight is heavy. You cannot use it at home. It is not preferred by the ladies. D. It is used for class D.
D. Dry.
Which is metals.
Yes.
D. Dry powder.
Dry powder.
E. I cannot see. I cannot see. Because of the white fog which is created by the powder, it is not advised you use it in a confined space. You will obscure the vision and your rescue job will be more difficult. And finally, R, the replacement joker. If you don't have water, you use dry powder. If you don't have carbon dioxide, you use dry powder. It is always the replacement joker. This is what all it takes to understand the secrets behind the P-O-W-D-E-R. Okay? P, particle. O, open area. Weight is heavy. Class D. Okay? And then E, I cannot see. And R, the replacement joker. What's your question, please?
Can we use it instead of the foam also?
You can use it instead of the foam with some restriction. We will show these restrictions in the next session. Let's go now to class E. Class E. F or K in the kitchen. The cooking oil. We use the wet chemical. Why this is wet? Because the dry chemical is the dry powder. This is the wet chemical. Wet chemical is actually a potassium salt, potassium acetate. Okay? And when you use this wet chemical, it makes saponification reaction. This saponification reaction makes a layer of foam on the layer, on the superficial layer of oil. This layer of foam obscures oxygen and hence supports the fire. Thank you very much for meditating with me about the classes, the colors, the names, the abbreviations. I hope this is very helpful for you. Thank you very much.